If you were looking for like a masterclass in how to turn your marketing for your like kind of lame movie into an absolute disaster, this is the master class. Okay?
Basically, Olivia Wilde is blowing up, in a bad way, blowing up the promotion of Don't Worry Darling, and it's hilarious to watch because she's just such an insufferable person.
She's so insufferable.
Florence Pugh is not that much better.
But she's staying quiet, at least for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you lead this. Basically, the idea here is they were seen at the Venice Film Festival, and there's a hilarious video where Florence Pugh will look at anyone but Olivia Wilde. Olivia Wilde got called out for lying about Shia LaBeouf getting fired from the movie when she actually kind of came to him almost on bended knee and asked him to stay around.
Shia LaBeouf leaked a video in response of Olivia Wilde sent to him that was basically begging him to stay on the film and be able to work it out with who she called Miss Flo,
which
Florence
is the most
Pugh.
condescending thing I've ever heard an adult call someone.
Yes, she clearly has some kind of personal beef with Florence Pugh, whether that's on both sides or if it's just one-sided, we can't know for sure. But it obviously was a way to condescend to her, to call her Miss Flo like that behind her back. And then Shia LaBeouf he was only forced into releasing that video because it was framed like he was fired.
For being dangerous.
Yeah, in reality, he had to quit, and it was because the rumor says Florence Pugh did not want to work with him because of his allegations of abuse from FKA Twigs, which we were talking about the other week, actually.
One thing I find funny about all this is Olivia Wilde talks extensively in the past interviews how she believes that getting to the best performance that she can get out of her actors is to create a safe and inclusive and healthy work environment.
While she begs behind the scenes for an alleged abuser, I'm not saying he's guilty, but an alleged abuser to stay on her project when a female on her set, who is the star of the film, is asking not to work with this man.
There's not an ounce of real...
Stand for what you believe in.
There's not an ounce of honesty or truth amongst these people.
Yeah.
It is all a facade that is designed to make them look like the greatest people on earth, on top of looking like pretentious art nerds, which is almost worse.
Two of the craziest parts... Olivia Wilde originally planned to play Alice, the housewife who Florence Pugh is playing, but she decided that she wasn't fit for the role. She wanted someone younger. So, I mean, Olivia Wilde is 38 and Florence Pugh is 26. She brought in Florence Pugh to play that role. And then once Shia LaBeouf was off of the project, she recast her boyfriend, Harry Styles, who she allegedly was cheating on her fiance, Jason Sudeikis, with, also the father of her 2 children, by the way, who served her legal papers while she was on stage exhibiting Don't Worry Darling at CinemaCon.
That was incredible.
By the way.
I've used the picture of her in that situation in all the thumbnails out of pure spite for the way Olivia Wilde acted.
Was it in a Comic-Con or something?
At a CinemaCon. And people were like applauding her because they were like, they emotionally ambushed you, queen. You handled it so well.
I want to point out that her behavior is, for somebody who's claiming to be different from the past of Hollywood, she's acting exactly like Hollywood.
Yeah, and she, even in the Variety interview that I was watching earlier, with you here, Brett, she was talking about how women used to direct films all the time in the silent film era. And then we went backwards mid 20th century. Gee, I wonder why.
This all reeks of Jussie Smollett likeness.
Really?
Yeah, because it keeps and now that you tell me about these leaks from Shia LaBeouf,
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna let people watch the clip of. Keep talking.
I kind of lost my track of my... Yeah, okay. So I kind of got the feeling from the beginning because for Shia LaBeouf right now, he's really trying to rebrand himself. I think he saw a movie that inspired him to be Christian.
Well, he's making the movie. He's starring as a Catholic saint in Padre Pio. So we talked about that on the show. Yep. He's
rebuilding his own image.
He's going to be on trial for sexual battery in April, but he's also releasing this film.
Let's look at this video real quick, where you'll see Olivia Wilde to the left, and she'll literally look anywhere but at Olivia Wilde, which is the most hilarious.
They were seated 3 people apart. They didn't make eye contact the entire time. And also it said that Florence Pugh left the standing ovation, which was 4 minutes long, which is a huge yawn. She left the room before it was even over.
This is the person she's defending.
Yes. I want to point out that if I was to give Olivia Wilde credit for one thing here, it would be that at the very least, she's trying to appear a bit diplomatic with her relationship with Pugh.
So there was this video where they were at the press conference for Don't Worry Darling at the film festival, and Florence Pugh was absent from the panel, and they were like, they basically excused it saying that she was filming for Dune 2, so she couldn't be there. But it definitely seems like it was intentional because Florence Pugh has been reluctant to promote this movie ever since it started getting teased.
All the promotional material has been the main cast except for Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
Another thing
she also didn't take any pictures with Harry Styles on the red carpet or with Olivia Wilde.
And they post Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles very far apart because they don't want you to know that those two are...
Now, just think about if the genders were reversed. If it were the 38-year-old actor and 20-something actress... or not 38-year-old director and like 20-something actress that was dating the director.
Not actress, singer who somehow got
some
hired
random pop star
got hired to be an actor
who happens to be dating the older director. Tell me there wouldn't be a flurry of headlines about that one.
That's what I mean when I say that for somebody who keeps talking about how she's tearing down the system that is Hollywood with her lame
tear down the system that benefits you, she says.
Which is her lame B-movie type of feminist filmmaking, which is lame, while acting exactly like male directors of the past have always acted.
It's all they want.
Yep.
Here's the thing. Olivia Wilde is on major levels of copium because she's not accredited as a director yet. Her first big film, Booksmart, was a complete flop in the box office, even though it got a bunch of great reviews from critics.
Thus proving that critic reviews have absolutely no bearing
nothing
on
to do with
whether
audience
actually
appeal.
going to do well at all anyways.
And she sees Don't Worry Darling as her big second chance at proving herself. And it's been a complete failure only because she has sabotaged it with all of her personal beef. And it should be mentioned that Florence Pugh, a woman much younger than her, who has a career much more promising than hers is right now, is doing intimate scenes with the director's boyfriend. Tell me that has nothing to do with their personal beef. It sounds so petty that I'm bringing it up, but it's undeniable.
I love that you brought it to the girl drama.
Women,
this is what
this is my bread and butter, Dave.
Women supporting women is the biggest lie Hollywood has ever tried to push. I also want to point out this quote from Harry Styles on acting. I have no idea what I'm doing.
He sounded like such an idiot in the panel. Yes. Like, I was saying this earlier, the selling point of Harry Styles is that he's the younger guy and he's a himbo and he's dating this like MILF, whatever. And he's just dumb. He's not hot enough to be a himbo.
No.
He's just an uncharismatic moron.
It's also really funny too because she even if I didn't even think about I was only really talking about Olivia Wilde as a director who's sleeping with her acting
and the double standard.
But not just that, but also she did it with cheating on somebody she has kids with. She's fully maybe what it really is. She's kind of like the Theranos chick, and she's she's really leaning into. She's to beat the men. I have to act exactly like the men. So she's
grandstanding in that Variety interview about how it's so different and it's so difficult to be a mother while directing a movie.
That's my favorite part of this is she talks about how she's because I'm not just a director, I'm a mom, and I'm
right.
I'm okay, I want you to reverse that.
And she said, and don't get me wrong, there are a lot of fathers who are directors too, but the expectations are different.
I was if you're a guy and you're a director and you've got kids, you're sending those kids off to either be with your wife, their mother, or a babysitter, or a nanny,
or all three, whatever.
If you're a woman and you're a director, you're going to either send the kids home with their dad or send them home with a nanny the same way a male director would. You're not going to direct the movie while bouncing a baby on your arm. Now, that would
actually be cool.
Douche.
But her kids are older than that. It would actually been pretty badass if she directed a movie with a baby literally on her hip. But other than that, I don't want to hear about how hard it is, Olivia Wilde. You were dating a guy way younger than you, and then you casted him like some kind of like Harvey Weinstein situation. Now, I won't say it's inherently predatory, but I'm talking about what she preaches about as one of these feminists in Hollywood. That's what I'm saying. It's the double standard.
If she didn't have those beliefs, I wouldn't care. I would say that's Hollywood. The older director dates younger star. Sounds about right for Hollywood.
But if you asked Olivia Wilde about a situation just like this where the genders are reversed, guess whose side she would be on?
Yeah. Well, that's the other the constant searching for victim points is hilarious. And in this, I actually when I watched the Vanity or listened to the Vanity Fair, I didn't have a whole bunch of problems with it until she got into the women in filmmaking part, when it became a humongous woe is me.
Because it's so hard as a woman to get a second chance as a director, and I'm just trying to build my reputation. This is all just pure luck.
Also, I want to point out that maybe this is, I always ask the question, I said, why the hell does Marvel hire a bunch of no-name directors to make their stuff? Maybe this is why. Because of this garbage. Like if remember the Rings of Power, which we just talked about for 25 minutes, hired people with no freaking credits to their name to make $1 billion franchise. Maybe they're doing that so they don't have to worry about opening the freaking articles one day.
Language.
And hear their whining director whining when you should be promoting your movie. I've heard everything about this movie except what it's about. The only time they've ever talked about what this movie's about was in relation to Jordan fricking Peterson of all people.
No. I also saw, in relation to what this movie is about, that it's some kind of social commentary about gender dynamics or putting a dark twist on Americana or some BS like that. And they also called the press tour for it, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this on YouTube, Female Orgasm Awareness Press Junket. What does that have to do with the plot? What does that have to do with the plot?
She pointed out, she's like, women's sexual satisfaction in movies has always been lacking because it's always been about
she
the
acts
men.
like she's some kind of pioneer of representation for queer women on TV because she was a bisexual character in House or something, or on the OC.
Yes, and in House she played a bisexual character, and I pointed out, I said that's not queer, that's bi. Queer is an ideology.
I mean, whatever. All of the labels blend together at this point. So it's just she's a preachy, annoying. She's just a grandstander.
It wouldn't be as annoying if she wasn't acting exactly like the male like the men that came before her. It wouldn't be as annoying, but it is.
Like, you're not correcting course.
Also, I want to point out that we do have this hilarious video where
So
Harry
Styles appears to spit on Chris Pine's face while they're mid applause.
I think it looks like he spits in his lap. Like you see him this person slows it down
and the craziest part is Chris Pine stops clapping.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't buy that it's that what he did was actually spit, except for when he stops clapping, it looks like he's doing it because he's like, what the hell did you just do?
Or he pretended to. Yeah. Like this, whatever happened on set is gonna be a documentary someday.
Yes. So here we go. They put it in slow motion so you can see this happen, man.
So bizarre.
You two are on rare form today.
What do you mean?
I don't know. You're all energetic.
Here it comes.
And now watch him stop clapping. Like, what?
The fuck? I don't know if what he did was actually spit, but I mean, it certainly looks like he's making that motion with his face. But it's like this movie's getting literally
him stopping the clapping is a nail in the coffin.
Imagine how soft Hollywood people are that they get spat on and the guy's right next to you.
Yeah,
like what happened?
They are, yeah, they're so socially weird.
I would actually say that's more tribute to his he's trying maybe
his
Chris
professionalism.
Pine. He's the only professional there who's trying to hold this sinking ship together. There are also so many points out there like, look at them being buddy like 5 minutes later, and
while they're awkwardly looking away from each other.
It's the least buddy thing I've ever seen.
Dude, I'd be a professional UFC fighter.
No one can read body language anymore these days.
There was literally, if
puts on his shades.
Yeah, there was he motioned to him and he kind of ignored him. It looks like they all.
Thank you.
It looks like they all hate each other. That's what it looks like to me.
Except for Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde.
So maybe if this is a movie about people hating each other, this is actually a freaking genius.
Maybe this is the hardship that is going to split Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles.
It says, "Don't worry, darling." This is the greatest headline for a movie ever. "Don't worry, darling." Stars awkwardly, reluctantly promote film at Venice Film Festival. They won. Like, here's the thing. A lot of times I make comments about how nothing in Hollywood feels real because they're actually good at faking it. And they can, like, you can never tell what's real and what's fake in the promotion. Yeah. These ones can't. They can't fake it because they seem to hate each other so much.
Yeah. And I think also people in Hollywood are less sociable or less socially adjusted and able to work out what would ordinarily be a very unremarkable workplace drama or workplace difference. And so, like, all artists. Of them think that their say goes.
Yep. I remember when they were making Men in Black International, if anybody saw that awful rendition, the Chris Hemsworth and what's that crappy actress's name? Tessa Thompson. Man, she's awful. They were making that, and the script is so bad that, like, Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth hired their own scriptwriters, even though they don't have final say on to do rewrites and try to push through rewrites. Yeah. So it's like, it's all self-interest, but it just makes me laugh because I as somebody who loved Olivia Wilde in House, watching her kind of implode her own career based solely on her own ego, self-importance, and vanity is kind of like chef's kiss in a way.
Serves you right.
Serves you right. Yeah. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.